And part of what holds me back is sometimes I think maybe there are money police who are going to stop me if I make too much money or if I get too successful. And
it's called the tax collector. It's all right.
Yeah, right. And so a monster doesn't think like that. A monster is not really interested in the rules. A monster is willing to break the rules, use his power to break the rules. He's very happy in love, so no one really holds him to it. And this particular monster doesn't do anything that horrible anyway, but he's not a goody-goody, which is one of my... It's a character problem for me sometimes. I'm too good. Yeah.
And how does that tie back to the kitty cat?
Oh, and he's healthy also, because he's got these big smiley white teeth. How does that tie back to the kitty cat? Well, I mean, the kid is mischievous, and cats are actually very powerful. They can jump 10, 20 times their height. They can do significant damage with their claws and their teeth. I mean, cats are killers. I mean, they're really cute and adorable and lovely when you have a good relationship with them, but you have to be the boss, and they have to learn that they can't claw you and bite you and do all the things that they instinctually want to do. So I guess there must be some instinctual power that I'm identifying with in a cat. Cats are happy when they purr on your chest. They keep themselves very clean animals. They're healthy if you take care of them. And they're mischievous. It's actually all of those things. Mm-hmm. Cat is all of those things.
Mm-hmm. And the conqueror?
Let's see. I said the conqueror was fearless, driven, respected, powerful, and strong. Well, whereas the kitten is going to be mischievous in a very constrained environment, because we're not going to let the cat out of the house, and we're going to be sure the cat doesn't get in any trouble. The truth is, to grow your business really large, you have to play with the big boys. I mean, I'm managing some very large deals right now with some large numbers and people that are really sharks. They're really sharks. And I for example, when I negotiate, I don't really negotiate the way that most people negotiate. I like to put everything on the table and say, well, let's see how we can make the best deal, and let's just be you and me, and let's all have love and peace. And
those hippie parents of yours.
And it's the hippie parents, but it's also because I really believe it's like the story of the two sisters in the orange, where they're fighting over an orange, and you think that the best solution is to split the orange in half, but if they both put their cards on the table and you find out that one sister wants to make orange juice and the other one wants to make orange cake, the best solution is not to split the orange in half. The best solution is for one of them to get the rind and the other one to get the pulp, and the other one to get the meat.
Yeah.
And they can only figure that out if everybody was, open and had everything on the table.
I totally agree with you.
Well, but you can't be like that in the world. It's unfortunately, that philosophy means that you trust people until they prove themselves untrustworthy. But the truth is that you need to distrust people until they prove themselves trustworthy enough to take that kind of a position. And I need to work on getting more into that situation.
And so how does the cat get you there?
Well, I think probably by watching him be mischievous and exerting his power and taking care of himself in a happy, playful, fun, constrained, safe situation. It's almost like a laboratory for me. I can identify with him and see that he doesn't really get in trouble, and I love him anyway, even though he's going to do some things that he really shouldn't do. I mean, that's what kittens do, right? They get into things they shouldn't get into, and we all kind of sit back and laugh. And they've got daringness to go venture different parts of the house, and things are a little scary to them, and they just they keep on conquering. They keep on conquering more and more territory, and I think I think for me, actually, as I talk about this now, it's like a healing event, because I didn't get that. I didn't get enough encouragement to do that as a kid. My parents really wanted me in the house, so they didn't really encourage me to get out and climb mountains and go out in the world and fight for business and really be a man in a world that I wanted to be a man in the world. So I think that it very much plays into plays into my personal life quest right now and struggles and progress.
So this would have been an excellent exercise for someone who was doing coaching. So if you are a coach or a therapist or a counselor, look at how well this helped to tell this person's story. And I mean, it's a real slice of life because it caught you right where you are right now. But in addition, it kind of, gives us an idea of your history.
Well, and I have to tell you that when we get the cat, I'm going to be much more sensitized to what I'm learning from it.
For having done this exercise?
And yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to be watching the cat exploring and going out and conquering and thinking, well, how can I borrow that energy? How can I do what this cat is doing out in my life? I think that's a very valuable thing to have done for me just in this 15 minutes.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That was wonderful. I learned some new things about you that I didn't know before.
Do you want to flip roles and maybe I'll interview you about a consumer category so people can see how to do it in research?
For market research, sure.
Okay. Hold on. Is there anything else that you want to say about the way that you interviewed me or the questions that you asked to make it clear to people how to do that?
Well, notice how simple it was. I asked for 5 adjectives.
Mm-hmm.
I had you go through all the adjectives first. And then I invited you to type them back. And then I invited you to talk about what that means to you. And
I have to say the cards are so much fun to look at. And the hardest part, at one point there were 2 different things that popped. Like I wasn't sure if it was a beggar or an orphan, so I had to consider that for a bit. But out of, how many cards am I looking at? Like
94.
94? Out of the 94 cards, the beggar really popped, and the orphan came out a little bit. So it's a fairly easy task.
Even though there are a lot of cards.
And it makes you wonder as you're doing it, well, what is it about that card that pops so much? I mean, I'm looking at 94 cards. She asked me one question, and this thing just popped right to the top. And I had a very, very strong feeling about it. It really starts you with this depthful feeling of intrigue and wonder. And so I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for you to ask me the question so I could talk more about it.
So cool.
Okay, so let's switch roles.
And, in reality, we could have said, you have a secondary card there. If we were doing a coaching session, there's no reason why we couldn't have had the orphan as well. And I'm sure that would have taken us down a slightly different path that would have been even more revealing of what's going on with you to yourself.
It all becomes an anchor point, and looking at the differences between them really explores what's going on in the psyche.
Right.
That's great. I really like this. Can we do it again later?
Yeah, we can do it again later.